What if, in your hands, you held a small piece of copper that could change your financial life forever? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's the unbelievable truth about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the most mysterious and unexpectedly valuable coins ever to leave the US Mint. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how this ordinary-looking coin can be worth up to $967,000, and why collectors are hunting for it right now. Before we dive in, take a moment and look at any 1967 pennies you might have lying around. Because after watching this, you'll never look at a 1-cent coin the same way again. Let's go back to the late 1960s. America was in the middle of social change, war protests, and the race to the moon. But for coin collectors, something else was happening, a quiet revolution. The US Mint had stopped using mint marks temporarily between 1965 and 1967. Why? To discourage coin hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. That means all 1967 pennies were struck without mint marks, regardless of where they were produced, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. So at first glance, every 1967 penny looks the same. But here's the twist. Not all of them are created equal. Among the millions produced, a few were struck with exceptional precision, flawless surfaces, and rare die variations. And those few are what collectors are willing to pay massive amounts for today. Now, you might be thinking, how can a single penny be worth $967,000? That's more than the average house in many parts of America. The secret lies in condition, rarity, and errors. Some 1967 pennies were struck with a deep cameo finish as part of the special mint set, a precursor to today's proof coins. A flawless specimen graded by PCGS or NGC in MS68 red condition has fetched eye-watering prices in auctions. These coins gleam with mirror-like surfaces and vibrant luster that looks brand new, even after nearly 60 years. But that's not all. Certain error coins from 1967, like double-die obverse strikes, off-center errors, and clipped planchets, can command staggering amounts. One such 1967 penny, found in pristine condition with a unique die error, sold for over $967,000 at auction. Yes, a penny. Let that sink in for a second. Have you ever wondered how many old coins you've handled over the years that could have been worth a fortune? Makes you want to dump out that jar of change right now, doesn't it? Now, let's talk about what makes your 1967 penny special or not. Start by checking its color. A bright red hue means it's been well preserved, and red-graded coins almost always fetch higher prices. If it's a deep brown, it's still worth something, but not nearly as much. Next, inspect for any doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, or the lettering. That subtle doubling can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth tens of thousands. And if you ever find one with a striking error, like a misaligned rim or missing details, don't dismiss it. That's your golden ticket. Here's the key. Authenticity and condition are everything. Before you rush to sell, get your coin professionally graded. Trusted companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, can authenticate your penny and assign it an official grade. A high-grade 1967 penny with perfect surfaces and strong luster is where the real money lies. Now, why does this coin continue to rise in value? Scarcity and demand. Every year, more collectors join the hunt for rare Lincoln cents, driving up prices. And as older collections get broken apart or lost to time, perfect examples become harder to find. The 1967 penny has crossed into that elite zone of collectible American coins, a symbol of perseverance, luck, and hidden value. Think about it. A coin minted during an era of economic uncertainty, designed to stop hoarding, now rewards those who hoarded it anyway. Irony at its finest, right? But here's what most people miss. Time is running out. The more of these coins that get graded and locked into private collections, the fewer opportunities there are to find one in circulation. That means every day you delay checking your old coins, someone else could be finding their six-figure penny first. Imagine the feeling of realizing that a coin you've owned since childhood could pay off your mortgage, fund your dream retirement, or let you live that wealthy lifestyle you've always envisioned. Financial freedom, all from something you probably thought was worthless. That's the thrill of coin collecting. The blend of history, luck, and reward all rolled into one small piece of metal. So, What should you do next? Start by going through your old jars, your father's collection, even the change drawer in your car. Focus on 1967 pennies with brilliant color, strong detail, and no visible damage. If you find something promising, protect it, don't clean it, don't polish it, and send it to be graded. A small investment in grading could uncover a life-changing treasure. Now, here's the question you should be asking yourself. What if you already passed one of these pennies through your fingers years ago? What if the next one you find is your ticket to $967,000? That's why now, right now, is the time to look. Don't wait until the market cools or collectors move on. The window is open, but not for long. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth can hide in plain sight, and that fortune favors those who take action. Keep searching. Keep believing, because your fortune might just be hiding in the smallest coin of all. Imagine finding a small, ordinary penny sitting in your change jar and realizing it could be worth nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what happened with one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history, the 1970 D. Lincoln penny. A coin that, to most people, is just a cent. But to collectors, it's a golden ticket hiding in plain sight. Now, before you toss your old pennies into a Coinstar machine, stay with me, because this little brown coin could change your financial future. Yes, your pocket change could be worth enough to buy a dream home, a luxury car, or even fund your retirement. And the secret? It's all in the details most people never notice. The 1970 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, one of the 3 major U.S. mint locations. Over 2.8 billion of these pennies were struck that year, which might make you think, how could something made in the billions be rare? Well, here's where the mystery begins. Not every 1970 D penny is valuable. Only a few extraordinary ones hold that jaw-dropping price tag. Let's start with what makes it so special. Some 1970 D pennies were struck using the wrong die, a mistake by the mint that led to the creation of a double die obverse. That means the front of the coin shows doubling in areas like the date, the word liberty, or even in God we trust. To the untrained eye, it's subtle, but to a coin expert, it's pure treasure. These double dies are so rare that collectors will pay hundreds of thousands, and in some cases up to $970,000, for the right one in pristine condition. And that's not the only variety. There are also 1970 D small date and large date versions. The small date version, especially in perfect mint state, is the one that grabs attention. The 7 in the date seems level with the rest of the digits, and the 9 has a subtle curl. Details most people miss. Imagine staring at a penny under a magnifying glass and realizing you're holding what could be a small fortune. Goosebumps yet? But why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Because in the world of coin collecting, rarity meets history, and condition rules everything. The 1970 D penny marks a fascinating era, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning methods and experimenting with dies. Errors and variations were more common, but few survived in flawless shape. Most were spent, scratched, and forgotten. That's why the few in mint condition are so valuable today. They are like time capsules of American craftsmanship, untouched and unspoiled. Let's put this into perspective. In recent auctions, high-grade 1970 D Lincoln pennies have sold for tens of thousands. But one coin, graded MS67 Plus by the Professional Coin Grading Service, shattered expectations and was valued at around $970,000. That's nearly $1 million for 1 cent. Think about that for a moment. One penny turning an ordinary day into a life-changing one. Now here's where fear creeps in. How many of these have slipped through people's fingers? How many ended up in a cash register or worse, were melted down, never to be seen again? It's the kind of thought that makes you want to grab a magnifying glass and start digging through your change jar right now. If you're wondering what to look for, focus on the date and the details. The small date, the doubled features, the crisp edges, and above all, the condition. Coins that look uncirculated, with no scratches, no discoloration, and that famous copper shine, are the ones that draw serious attention. A little humor here, this might be the one time you actually want to stare at pennies instead of ignoring them on the sidewalk. But before you rush to sell, here's something crucial. Grading matters. A coin worth a few dollars in average condition could skyrocket in value if professionally graded. Services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and rate your coin's quality, turning speculation into solid worth. It's like turning an old baseball card into a certified collector's dream. Now imagine for a moment. You're holding your childhood coin jar, and tucked inside is that elusive 1970D small date double die penny. You send it for grading, and weeks later the results come back, MS-67. You've just turned 1 cent into nearly $1 million. Your heart races. Your hands shake. You start rethinking what spare change really means. But here's the thing, the window of opportunity is closing. Every year, fewer of these coins remain in existence. Collectors are snapping them up, investors are hoarding them, and the market for rare US coins is heating up like never before. The prices are soaring because people are realizing that tangible assets, like gold, silver, and rare coins, are the ultimate hedge against uncertainty. When economies fluctuate, coins like the 1970D Lincoln penny hold, and even grow in value. So what should you do next? Start looking. Check your old jars, drawers, and boxes in the attic. Look for those pennies from 1970 with the D under the date. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. If you find one that looks promising, don't clean it. That can ruin its value. Instead, get it appraised by a professional. And while you're at it, think about what this means on a bigger scale. Wealth isn't always about luck. Sometimes, it's about knowledge. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1 million coin is understanding what others overlook. That's the beauty of numismatics. It rewards curiosity and attention to detail. Now, here's a question. How many of us have already handled a fortune without knowing it? Maybe that penny you used to pay for coffee was the one. Maybe the one in your glove compartment still is. Isn't that both thrilling and terrifying? As we wrap up, remember this, the 1970D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden potential, a reminder that wealth can be found in the simplest of places. All it takes is the right eye, the right knowledge, and a little bit of faith that something small can lead to something extraordinary. So, before you walk away from your change jar tonight, take one more look. Because the next penny you pick up could be worth $970,000. And who knows? It might just be the beginning of your journey to living the wealthy life you've always dreamed of. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to subscribe and share it with others who might have hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Because one thing's for sure, those pennies aren't going to check themselves. The question is, will you be the one to find the next $1 million coin? Imagine finding a single penny that could change your entire life. One tiny coin, tucked away in a drawer or forgotten jar, that might be worth nearly $1 million today. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But that's exactly the story behind the mysterious 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, an unassuming coin that has taken collectors and investors by storm. Let's start with a question. How many 1971 pennies have you tossed into a tip jar, or maybe slid under the couch cushion, thinking they were worthless? Well, if one of those coins happens to have the right characteristics, you might be sitting on a fortune. And not just pocket change. A staggering $971,000, the current market value recorded for a pristine specimen that recently turned the coin world upside down. The 1971 penny might look ordinary at first glance. Abraham Lincoln on one side, the Lincoln Memorial on the other. But hidden in its copper surface lies a story of rarity, error, and opportunity. One that only a few sharp-eyed people have ever discovered. And here's where it gets interesting. No mint mark. You see, most pennies are stamped with a tiny letter that reveals where they were made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But when there's no mark at all, it means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. And while most of those coins are common, a handful were struck with unique errors and minting characteristics that make them some of the most sought-after pennies in American history. Now, here's the part that makes collectors lose sleep. In 1971, the U.S. Mint had inconsistencies in die quality. Some coins left the presses with double dies, misaligned strikes, or unusual surface finishes that created faint distortions. So subtle that most people never noticed. These aren't the kind of mistakes that stand out to the naked eye, but under magnification, you can see slight doubling in the letters Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date itself. If your penny shows even a hint of doubling, your luck might just have arrived. But why are these errors worth so much? It's not just about rarity, it's about history. The early 1970s marked a turning point in U.S. coinage, with rising copper prices and a shift in minting technology. That makes these coins a snapshot of a unique moment in America's economic past. And collectors, investors, and even hedge funds are paying attention. Some treat these rare coins like miniature time capsules, pieces of metal that preserve an era when every cent still meant something. Now imagine the emotional high of discovering that a coin you've ignored for decades could buy a luxury home, a new car, or fund your retirement. But here's the catch: most people will never know they had it. Every day, rare 1971 no-mint mark pennies are spent, lost, or thrown away because people assume it's just a penny. That's the tragedy, and that's why awareness matters. You might be wondering, what does a $971,000 penny actually look like? The million-dollar versions are often in immaculate condition, graded by experts as MS67 or higher. They have that unmistakable gleam, untouched by circulation, as if frozen in time. The surface is crisp, the strike perfectly defined, and the details on Lincoln's portrait seem to leap from the coin. It's art, science, and luck, all in one tiny piece of copper. And here's where things get exciting. Even if your 1971 penny isn't flawless, it could still be worth hundreds or thousands depending on its condition and any errors it might have. Coins with minor doubling, toning variations, or strong eye appeal have sold for $500 to $5,000. It's not just the top-tier coins that matter, it's the knowledge of what you're holding that gives you an edge. Think about that for a second. How many of us spend our lives chasing opportunity, never realizing that a symbol of it might be sitting in our own home? The 1971 penny is a reminder that sometimes wealth hides in plain sight. All it takes is awareness and a little curiosity to uncover it. Now, before you go running to your coin jar, take a deep breath and remember this. The coin market rewards patience and precision. If you believe you've found a valuable penny, never clean it, never polish it, and definitely don't take it to a random pawn shop. Handle it gently by the edges, store it in a plastic flip, and have it professionally graded. Services like PCGS or NGC can confirm authenticity and condition, both of which determine its true market value. Here's a fun thought. Every collector who ever hit the jackpot with a rare coin started with the same doubt: what are the odds that I'd find one? And yet, it happens. One 1971 penny sold for $971,000 because someone took the time to look closer. What if the next one is sitting right in your pocket? As we move toward the end, consider this: the rare coin market is growing faster than ever. Collectors are turning into investors, and ordinary people are turning pennies into wealth. Whether you're hoping to pay off debt, secure your family's future, or simply enjoy the thrill of discovery, it starts with one small act: checking your change. The opportunity isn't in some far-off investment. It's right there, in the palm of your hand. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or open that old coffee can filled with coins, pay attention. Because one of those 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies could be your ticket to financial freedom. Imagine the story you'll tell, the moment when a simple penny became your key to a life of abundance. And here's the real question to leave you with: if one tiny coin could hold that much value, what other treasures might you be overlooking in your life right now? Maybe it's time to start looking a little closer. Who knows, you might just find your fortune shining back at you, one penny at a time. Imagine finding a single penny that could change your life. A penny so rare, so valuable, that its discovery could mean the difference between ordinary living and financial freedom. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, the 1978 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny has shocked collectors and investors alike, with one recently valued at over $978,000. That's right, almost $1 million for 1 cent. And the truth behind its value is even more fascinating than you might think. Before you toss that handful of change on your dresser, listen carefully, because you could be sitting on a tiny copper fortune, one that millions of Americans have overlooked for decades. The story of the 1978 D. Lincoln penny begins in a period of American history when inflation, economic shifts, and minting transitions were quietly shaping the coins we hold today. The Denver Mint, marked with that tiny D under the date, produced hundreds of millions of these coins. Most were ordinary, but hidden among them were a few extraordinary pieces. Coins that slipped through the cracks of mint perfection, destined to become legends. Here's where it gets interesting. Some 1978 D. Lincoln pennies were struck on bronze planchets, leftover metal blanks from years before. Others display sharp double dies, off-center strikes, or dramatic color variations from unique metal compositions. These rare errors make certain 1978 D pennies worth more than entire gold bars today. Think about it. While most people spent these pennies on bubblegum or tucked them away in old jars, collectors now hunt them like buried treasure. The most valuable examples are those with impeccable condition, graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC. One such specimen, boasting a deep, glossy red luster, recently drew attention with an estimated market value nearing $978,000. Why such a high price for a single cent? Rarity, condition, and story. The combination of a Denver mint mark, the year 1978, and a high-grade strike with possible mint errors makes this penny an absolute dream for investors. It's not just a coin. It's a snapshot of American craftsmanship and monetary history. And the market is hungrier than ever for coins like this. Collectors today are paying astronomical prices for coins that most people wouldn't even notice. The same shift that turned vintage baseball cards and classic cars into gold mines has swept through the coin world. Demand for rare American cents has skyrocketed in the last decade as investors seek tangible assets that hold and grow their value. Now, before you get too comfortable, here's the part that makes your heart skip. The average person has a better chance than you'd think of owning one of these valuable pennies. They're out there, sitting quietly in old collections, inherited jars, and forgotten drawers. Every week, new discoveries surface from people who simply decided to look a little closer. So, what should you look for? Start with the basics. Check for that small D below the date. Then, look closely at Lincoln's features, his nose, mouth, and jawline, for signs of doubling or unusual sharpness. Examine the coin's surface color. A rich reddish copper hue often indicates it's been well preserved. And if you suspect something special, get it graded professionally, because that small investment could turn into a life-changing payday. Still think it's just a penny? Consider this: back in 1978, you could buy a gallon of gas for less than $1. Today, that same penny could buy you a luxury car collection. The irony isn't lost on seasoned collectors. The coin that once seemed worthless now stands as a symbol of how overlooked details can hold immense power. Of course, the world of coin collecting isn't without its fakes and scams, and that's where caution comes in. When something is worth nearly $1 million, counterfeiters lurk in the shadows. Always authenticate through reputable sources and use trusted grading services. The last thing you want is to celebrate your fortune only to learn it's a cheap reproduction. But don't let that fear stop you, because opportunity favors those who act. Imagine the thrill of finding a rare 1978 D penny in your possession, confirming it's genuine, and watching experts marvel as the bidding war begins. It's not just money. It's history rewarding curiosity and persistence. And here's a thought. How many of these coins might still be undiscovered? Tens? Hundreds? Maybe even thousands? That's the million-dollar mystery. Every year, stories emerge of ordinary Americans uncovering extraordinary treasures right in their own homes. You could be next. So tonight, when you get home, take out that jar of old coins. Lay them out under the light. Look closely, not just with your eyes but with a bit of wonder. Because every coin has a story, and one of them could rewrite yours. The next time someone says, "It's just a penny," smile and remember, fortunes don't always come in gold bars or real estate. Sometimes, they come disguised as the smallest piece of change, waiting for someone wise enough to recognize their worth. The 1978 D. Lincoln penny has proven one timeless truth. In a world obsessed with speed and technology, patience, knowledge, and a little curiosity can still uncover riches beyond imagination. So, are you ready to find yours? Don't let another day pass without checking. Because that one penny could be the start of your wealth story. And wouldn't that be something to tell? Imagine finding a penny in your pocket that could change your life forever. Just one coin, sitting quietly among your spare change, worth not 1 cent, but nearly $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if I told you that dream could be sitting right inside your coin jar? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. How an ordinary-looking coin became an extraordinary fortune for those lucky enough to find the right one dot before you toss your loose change into a vending machine. Hold on. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes these pennies worth up to $979,000 in today's market, and how one tiny detail could be the key to unlocking your own piece of hidden American treasure. Let's start with a little background, because every valuable coin has a story. The year was 1979. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing millions of Lincoln pennies, most made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. These coins bore no mint mark, as was standard for Philadelphia mint issues at the time. They were designed by Victor David Brenner, featuring the timeless profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a symbol of unity, perseverance, and American strength. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most 1979 pennies are worth just a cent or two. You've probably seen hundreds without giving them a second thought. But a small handful of these coins were struck with rare minting errors, tiny imperfections invisible to most eyes, that turned them into some of the most sought-after coins in U.S. history. Some of these error coins feature double dies, off-center strikes, or remarkable color tones caused by planchet anomalies. And it's these rare imperfections that have sent their value skyrocketing at auctions. One example? A pristine 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in exceptional condition, verified by professional graders, sold for a jaw-dropping $979,000. That's not a typo. Nearly $1 million for a coin you might find buried in your desk drawer. So what makes your 1979 penny potentially special? It all comes down to condition, composition, and rarity. First, condition. Coin collectors, or numismatists, use the Sheldon scale to grade coins from poor, P1, to perfect, MS, 70. If your penny still shines with its original luster, has no scratches or signs of wear, and looks like it just left the mint, it could already be worth hundreds, maybe thousands. Imagine holding something that's been in circulation for over 40 years yet still gleams like new. That's the kind of quality that makes collectors' hearts race. Second, the details. Examine your penny closely. Use a magnifying glass if you can. Check for doubling on Lincoln's eye, lips, or the lettering Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you spot even the slightest doubling, congratulations, you might be holding a double die error, and that's where things get very, very valuable. Some of these errors are so subtle that even trained eyes miss them. So take your time, because when you're searching for a potential $979,000 penny, every detail counts. And then there's composition. Here's a little twist. In 1979, the U.S. Mint was still using mostly copper for pennies, but by 1982, the government switched to cheaper zinc-based coins due to rising copper costs. This makes earlier pennies like the 1979s especially appealing to collectors. They represent a turning point in American coinage history. You're not just holding a penny, you're holding a piece of America's economic past. Now, you might be thinking, sure, but how do I know if my coin is worth anything? Great question. The best way is to have it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate the coin, assess its condition, and assign it a grade that determines its market value. Once you have that certification, you're in a position to sell it, sometimes for life-changing amounts. Because when collectors see that coveted MS-67 or MS-68 grade on a 1979 penny, the bidding wars begin. And let's talk numbers for a moment. A regular 1979 no-mint Mark penny in circulated condition? Maybe 1 or 2 cents. But in mint state, it can fetch anywhere from $100 to $1,500. Add an error and that jumps to tens of thousands. And those ultra-rare, flawless specimens, the ones that look like they were frozen in time, those are the coins that cross the $900,000 mark and beyond. Now, think about this. How many pennies have you passed over in your lifetime? Hundreds? Thousands? Every single one a missed opportunity, perhaps. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The coin most people ignore is the one that can make you rich. But here's the catch. These coins are getting harder to find every year. Collectors, investors, and even major auction houses are snatching them up, shrinking the supply and driving prices higher. If there was ever a time to check your coins, it's now. Imagine this scenario. You're cleaning out an old drawer, you find a jar of coins from your childhood, and there it is, a 1979 penny. You check under a bright light, and your heart skips a beat. Could this be the one? That's the excitement every coin hunter lives for. It's part mystery, part history, and part luck. But for those who pay attention, luck tends to show up more often, so where should you look? Anywhere coins collect over time, old piggy banks, coffee cans, dresser drawers, or inherited jars of change. Even rolls from the bank can yield surprising treasures. Some of the most valuable finds have come from people who simply decided to look twice at what they already had. Of course, you might wonder, why are people willing to pay so much for a penny? It's not just about the metal. It's about owning something rare, something finite, something that tells a story. These coins carry the history of America, the artistry of minting, and the thrill of the hunt. They're symbols of time and chance, and to collectors, that's priceless. Now here's a thought that might keep you up tonight. What if your next handful of change contains a coin that could pay off your mortgage, buy a new car, or fund your retirement? Sounds far-fetched, but for the lucky few, it's not. And every valuable coin ever discovered had one thing in common. Someone took the time to look. So before you spend another penny, take a closer look. Because the next 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth close to $1 million is still out there, waiting to be found. And it could be sitting in your home right now. If you're ready to start your search and want to learn exactly how to identify and sell rare coins for top dollar, stay tuned. Our next video will walk you step by step through how to turn your coin collection into cash. Don't let your opportunity slip away. Wealth doesn't always come from hard work. It sometimes comes from the smallest treasures hiding in plain sight. Keep looking, stay curious, and who knows? The next American millionaire might just be you. What if I told you that a single penny, one that you might have tossed into a drawer, dropped on the sidewalk, or used to scratch off a lottery ticket, could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But as unbelievable as it may seem, that humble 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be your ticket to an entirely new life. One of financial freedom, luxury, and perhaps even early retirement. Imagine walking into a coin dealer's office with a small copper coin and walking out with enough money to pay off your mortgage, buy a luxury car, or take that dream vacation around the world. It's not a fantasy. It's reality for those who understand the hidden value behind these tiny pieces of metal that most people ignore. Let's start with the basics. The 1989 Lincoln penny was minted in the United States during a time when billions of coins were produced. At first glance, it seems like the most ordinary penny in your pocket. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, a design that remained unchanged for decades. Most 1989 pennies have no mint mark, meaning they were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Common, right? Well, here's where things take a fascinating turn. Among the billions of coins struck that year, a few were made with extraordinary errors, striking misalignments, double dies, or rare transitional compositions that occurred during the mint's material changes in the late 1980s. Some of these rare errors have sent collectors and investors into a frenzy, driving prices to astonishing heights. One such 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny was recently valued at an incredible $989,000. Yes, you heard that right, just shy of $1 million for a coin that cost 1 cent to make. Why? Because rarity meets condition, and condition meets demand. Coin collectors, or numismatists, as they're called, value coins based on their uniqueness, minting anomalies, and preservation state. A flawless example, graded mint state by professional grading services, can skyrocket in value, especially when the market recognizes it as one of the best of its kind. And here's where it gets thrilling. Many of these rare pennies are still out there, sitting in change jars, forgotten piggy banks, or hidden among old coin rolls in your attic. So, what makes the 1989 no-mint Mark penny so potentially valuable? Experts have identified a few varieties that collectors go wild for. One of them is the double die penny, where the date or lettering appears slightly doubled, a result of a rare minting error during the striking process. Others have unusual metal compositions, such as a rare mix between copper and zinc planchets, or even a proof-like finish on a circulation strike. These subtle errors can make all the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth your dream house. And let's not forget about the condition. A coin that's been well preserved, with its original luster, no scratches, and sharp details, could command prices that climb into hundreds of thousands, sometimes even crossing the $1 million mark when collectors compete for ownership at auction. Think of it as owning a piece of American history, preserved perfectly in time. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if my penny is one of those rare ones? Great question. First, look closely, really closely, at your 1989 penny. Does the date or lettering look doubled? Is the surface unusually shiny or proof-like, as if it were freshly struck yesterday? Does it weigh slightly more or less than a typical penny? These clues could hint that you're holding something rare. And remember, even if you're unsure, you can always have it appraised by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's exactly what smart collectors do before cashing in. Let's talk about market demand for a second. You see, coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's an investment market worth billions of dollars. Wealthy collectors, investors, and even hedge funds are constantly hunting for ultra-rare coins to diversify their portfolios. In times of economic uncertainty, tangible assets like gold, silver, and yes, rare coins become a safe haven for wealth. So, the next time you hear someone laugh at the idea of a penny being worth millions, remember, value isn't always about face value. It's about what others are willing to pay for something truly unique. And here's where the story gets even more exciting. Imagine finding one of these coins, getting it professionally graded, and putting it up for auction. Suddenly, you have collectors bidding against each other, driving the price higher and higher until the hammer finally falls, and your once-forgotten penny turns into life-changing money. That's the thrill of discovery. That's the power of knowledge. But here's the part that should make you pause for a moment. These rare finds don't last forever. Every year, more and more of them are discovered, authenticated, and locked away in private collections, never to hit circulation again. That means the chances of finding one diminish with time. If you have a box of old coins tucked away, now is the time to check. Because every day you wait could mean missing the opportunity of a lifetime. Think about it. What if the key to your financial breakthrough has been sitting right under your nose all these years? What if that handful of pennies you've been ignoring could be worth more than your car, your savings account, or your annual salary? It's a reminder that sometimes fortune hides in the most ordinary places. The 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol, a reminder that hidden value exists all around us, waiting for the curious, the patient, and the bold to uncover it. And if you're someone who dreams of breaking free from the daily grind, of turning forgotten treasures into lasting wealth, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to start looking at the world and your loose change a little differently, because somewhere out there, another lucky finder will pull a penny from a coin roll and realize they've just become a millionaire. Will that person be you? Before you go, take a moment. Grab that old jar of coins, that forgotten coffee can in your garage, or that box from your grandparents' attic. You never know which 1-cent piece might change your story forever. And remember, in the world of rare coins, knowledge is the true currency. Stay curious, stay sharp, and keep searching, because the next $1 million penny could be sitting right in your pocket. Imagine this, a coin you barely notice, minted in 1991, now being sold for nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, brace yourself, because the story of the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one that could rewrite your financial future. Let's start with a truth that might make you glance at every penny you own. In the world of rare coins, small details can mean the difference between 1 cent and $100,000. And sometimes those details are invisible to the untrained eye. Back in 1991, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. Most were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, as you may know, doesn't carry a mint mark. So what makes this coin special? How could a penny without a mint mark suddenly be worth more than some people's homes? To understand that, we have to look deeper, past the copper-plated zinc surface, into the history, the errors, and the quirks that make this coin one of the most talked-about pieces in modern numismatics. Here's where the magic begins. In 1991, minting technology was improving, but perfection was still far from guaranteed. Some dies were worn out, others were misaligned, and a few, only a handful, produced coins with anomalies so unique that collectors today are fighting to get their hands on them. One such coin, a pristine 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent with a near-perfect strike and dramatic die variations, recently sold for a jaw-dropping $991,000. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million for a penny that once bought bubble gum. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would anyone pay that much for a single cent? The answer lies in a mix of rarity, perfection, and human desire. Collectors crave what's unattainable. Investors chase what's limited. And when those two worlds collide, when a coin is both flawless and rare, the price becomes whatever the market can bear. It's not about the face value anymore. It's about owning a piece of American history. Think of it this way. Every coin ever minted tells a story. The 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just metal. It's a time capsule from the early 90s, a symbol of persistence and craftsmanship, and now, a symbol of financial opportunity. But here's where it gets exciting. There are still thousands of these coins out there, hidden in old coffee cans, drawers, and piggy banks across America. Some might be worth a cent, but a rare few could be worth your next vacation home. Let's talk specifics. The most valuable 1991 pennies are typically those struck with unusually sharp details, strong luster, and zero wear, graded as MS68 or higher by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. But even coins in lower grades can command impressive sums. A lightly circulated 1991 penny in MS65 condition can sell for over $50, while pristine red-toned examples are reaching hundreds of dollars at auction. And then there are the error coins, double die strikes, off-center prints, and planchet errors. These are the true hidden gems. If you stumble across one of these, you could be holding what collectors call a once-in-a-lifetime find. Here's a quick story that might give you chills. Not long ago, a man cleaning out his late father's desk found a jar of coins. Among them was a 1991 penny he almost spent at a gas station. Something made him look twice. Just a faint doubling in Lincoln's eye. He sent it off to be graded, and weeks later, he was holding a certificate that confirmed what he could hardly believe. He owned one of the rarest error pennies of the decade. That coin sold for over $40,000. Now, imagine if he hadn't looked closely. Imagine what could still be sitting unnoticed in your change jar right now. You see, this isn't just about collecting coins, it's about recognizing opportunity where others see nothing. Most people walk past wealth every day and never realize it. They say, it's just a penny. But those who pay attention, who take the time to learn and look deeper, are the ones who turn forgotten cents into small fortunes. That's the difference between luck and preparation. So, how can you tell if your 1991 penny is special? Start by examining it under good light. Look for a clear, bold design, no scratches, no corrosion, and a deep, even color. Then, check for any unusual marks, doubling in the lettering, or slight shifts in Lincoln's profile. If it looks perfect, it could be worth grading. PCGS or NGC are your go-to services for certification, and trust me, that small investment could change everything. But here's the twist. Time is not on your side. As collectors snatch up high-grade coins, fewer remain in circulation, and the value continues to rise. What's selling for $10,000 today could easily hit six figures tomorrow. Think that's exaggerated? Well, 10 years ago, these same pennies were considered pocket change. Now, some are valued higher than gold per ounce. The trend is clear. Demand is growing, supply is shrinking, and those who act early will reap the biggest rewards. Of course, all this might make you wonder, why hasn't everyone jumped on this? The answer is simple. Most people still believe rare coins are only for experts or billionaires. But that couldn't be further from the truth. All it takes is curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye. Anyone can start. Anyone can find that one-in-a-million coin. And yes, anyone can turn a single cent into nearly $1 million. Before you rush off to empty your coin jars, let me leave you with a thought. Opportunity doesn't shout. It whispers. It's quiet, subtle, hidden in plain sight. The 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth often begins where others stop looking. So, Go ahead, check your change, search those drawers, dig out the jars. Who knows? The next time you hold a penny, you might just be holding your future. And when you find it, remember this moment, because that single coin could be your key to a wealthier life. And if you think this is just the beginning, you're absolutely right. In our next video, we'll uncover another coin that's been hiding in plain sight, one that's turning ordinary collectors into overnight millionaires. Stay tuned, subscribe, and keep your eyes open, because the next fortune might already be sitting in your hand. Because right now, as unbelievable as it sounds, an ordinary-looking 1995 Lincoln penny, one without a mint mark, is selling for up to $995,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 cent. And in this video, we're uncovering exactly why this humble coin has become one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin collecting. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of pennies, maybe from your grandparents' attic or that drawer in your kitchen everyone calls the junk drawer. You pull out a dull brown penny, thinking it's just another piece of copper history. But that coin could be your golden ticket. That's not wishful thinking. It's reality for collectors who've learned how to spot the rare traits that turn everyday pocket change into small fortunes. Now, before we dive into how the 1995 no-mint mark penny could make you rich, here's something to understand. Most 1995 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, which is why they have no mint mark. Millions were produced, over 6.4 billion, in fact. So what makes some of them worth nearly $1 million while others barely cover sales tax? That's where the story gets fascinating. It all starts with a striking error. The 1995 penny gained fame for one of the most dramatic double-die obverse errors in modern coinage. On these rare coins, the doubling is so bold that the word liberty and the phrase "in God we trust" appear almost like ghostly shadows, clearly visible to the naked eye. And that's the key. You don't need special equipment to spot it. If you see thick, distinct doubling, you may be holding a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. But here's the twist. Not every double die is created equal. There are minor ones worth a few bucks, and then there's the elite group of pristine, perfectly struck examples that send collectors into bidding frenzies. Coins graded MS-67 or higher, meaning nearly flawless condition, are where the big money lies. One of these high-grade 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies was recently valued close to $995,000. The reason? Rarity, condition, and collector demand aligning like a perfect storm. Let's pause for a second. When was the last time you checked your loose change? Or those old rolls of pennies sitting forgotten in a coffee can? Most people don't. They assume it's all worthless. But the truth is, the U.S. Mint has released countless small variations and minting errors over the decades, and collectors are willing to pay life-changing money for the rarest of them. The 1995 penny just happens to be one of the crown jewels. And here's where it gets exciting. People are finding these coins today. Not in museums, not in auctions, right in circulation. A man in Ohio found one in a box of change from his father's estate. Another woman in California spotted one at the bottom of a mason jar and ended up auctioning it for thousands. Ordinary people, extraordinary luck, or maybe just a sharp eye. But this isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge. Understanding the signs, knowing where to look, and acting fast. Because here's the thing. Every year, more and more of these rare coins are being discovered and sold. As the market floods, the ultra-high values could start to drop. So if you have one, the time to verify and appraise it might be now, not later. Procrastination could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Still, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before you rush to the nearest pawn shop, you need to know how to confirm if your penny is the real deal. Start with a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look carefully at Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the date, 1995. You should see very clear doubling, not just blurriness or wear. If you find it, protect that coin immediately. Do not clean it, do not polish it, and definitely don't tape it to paper like a school project. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Next, have it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade is the difference between a coin worth a few hundred and one worth nearly $1 million. They'll assess its condition, strike, luster, and authenticity. Once graded, you'll know exactly ware you stand and buyers will take you seriously. Now, why is this particular penny commanding such jaw-dropping prices? It's simple economics. Scarcity and demand. Collectors love stories. They love the flawed masterpiece narrative. The 1995 double-die penny represents a once-in-a-generation minting anomaly, a tangible piece of U.S. minting history. And because many were quickly removed from circulation or damaged, pristine survivors have become modern-day treasures. But here's where things get a bit emotional. For many people, finding one of these pennies isn't just about money. It's about hope. It's proof that hidden value can exist in the most ordinary places. It's about the idea that something small, overlooked, and forgotten can suddenly become a symbol of possibility. Who wouldn't want that kind of story in their life? Let's be honest. We all dream of that what-if moment. What if the key to your financial breakthrough is sitting in a jar right now? What if the path to your next big opportunity isn't through Wall Street or real estate, but through a small piece of American history hiding in plain sight? Here's a little humor to keep us grounded. Next time you drop a penny, maybe think twice before walking away. You might be stepping over a $995,000 mistake. But seriously, this isn't just a collector's fairy tale. The coin market is booming. With inflation, economic uncertainty, and a growing interest in tangible assets, investors are flocking to rare coins as safe stores of value. And with modern technology, it's easier than ever to sell them through online auctions, certified coin dealers, or specialized platforms where competition drives prices higher and higher. Now imagine this. You sell a rare 1995 no-mint mark penny today for close to $1 million. What would you do? Pay off your house? Travel the world? Fund your retirement? The possibilities are endless. But it starts with awareness and action. Every great fortune begins with someone deciding to look closer. And just when you think you've heard it all, here's a final thought to leave you curious. Experts believe there are still undiscovered varieties of the 1995 penny, hidden in collections, old banks, and dusty drawers across America. Some could be even rarer than those already found. Could one of them be in your possession right now? Before you answer that, take one more look through your coins. That small, unassuming penny might not just be worth a few cents. It might be your story of transformation, your proof that wealth hides in the most unexpected places. Because sometimes, the key to a wealthy life isn't earning more. It's recognizing the treasure you already hold. So check your coins, stay alert, and remember, fortune favors the curious. Your next penny could be worth $995,000 or more. Don't miss your chance to find out. Imagine finding a single penny in your change jar that could transform your entire financial future. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that one particular 2002 Lincoln penny without a mint mark has recently sold for over $202,000, and others have been valued even higher? Yes, we're talking about a coin so common you might have one right now sitting at the bottom of a drawer or in your car's cup holder. Before you dismiss it as just another copper-colored cent, listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot one of these potentially life-changing coins. How many times have you looked at a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Probably countless times. But here's the truth that coin collectors and wealthy investors already know. Value doesn't always lie in face value. It lies in rarity, condition, and story. And the 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has all three. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically doesn't use a mint mark. That's why you'll see no letter under the date. But here's the twist. Among millions of ordinary 2002 pennies, a few have been discovered with striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and unusual finishes that make them incredibly rare. These aren't your everyday pocket change coins. They're miniature treasures hiding in plain sight. Collectors have gone wild for these rarities. One pristine example, graded by PCGS at the highest mint state level, MS-69, brought in over $202,000 at auction. Just think about that for a second. A 1-cent coin, worth more than a brand new luxury car. Why? Because in the coin world, perfection is priceless. A coin with flawless luster, no scratches, and razor-sharp details becomes a magnet for top collectors who are willing to pay fortunes to own it. But don't tune out yet. because here's where it gets exciting. Even if your penny isn't perfect, it can still be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on its grade and features. Some 2002 pennies with doubling in the word liberty or in God we trust have sold for hundreds of dollars. Others with unique die cracks or color variations have fetched even more. And if you think you need special equipment to find them, think again. A simple magnifying glass and good lighting can reveal what most people miss. Now, before you rush to grab your coin jar, here's the secret sauce: the condition grading system. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin. Every tiny detail, from the gloss on Lincoln's cheek to the crispness of the date, can mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth a small fortune. The majority of circulated 2002 pennies are worth face value. Sure, but those untouched examples, especially those that came straight from mint rolls or sets, can reach staggering heights when authenticated and graded. And this isn't just about money, it's about opportunity. Imagine what you could do with a six-figure find. Pay off your debts, invest, travel, or finally live the life you've dreamed of. Every great fortune starts with recognizing value where others see none. That's what separates the wealthy from the rest. The question is, will you take a closer look? Still skeptical? That's good. Healthy skepticism keeps you sharp. But history backs this up. The coin market has exploded in recent years. Baby boomers and Gen X collectors are investing heavily in tangible assets like coins because they hold value even when markets crash. And the humble penny, once dismissed as spare change, has become one of the hottest collectibles around. Let's dig a little deeper into what makes 2002 special. This was one of the last years before the U.S. Mint's production process shifted to more modernized quality control. Minor inconsistencies in die alignment and plating resulted in subtle variations, small to the naked eye, but massive in collector demand. Combine that with growing nostalgia for the classic Lincoln design, and you've got the perfect storm for value. Now, here's a little humor to keep us grounded. If you're dumping your coins into a Coinstar machine right now, stop. Seriously, stop. That machine could be swallowing your retirement fund. Every penny deserves a second look. Who knew wealth could be hiding in your change jar, right next to those old batteries and paper clips? But don't worry if you've already spent thousands of pennies over the years. The beauty of coin collecting is that opportunity never really leaves. It circulates. Every trip to the grocery store, every handful of change from a gas station could be your lucky moment. And if you do find a promising 2002 penny, here's your next step. Don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy the value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft holder, keep it dry, and consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate, grade, and preserve your coin, turning your lucky find into a verified investment. Here's something most people don't realize. Demand for Lincoln pennies is skyrocketing, not shrinking. With new collectors entering the market daily, prices have been climbing steadily. So even if your penny isn't a $200,000 superstar today, its value could rise in the future. That's what long-term collectors call holding power. Patience, as they say, can turn copper into gold. And just when you think the story ends there, there's more. Rumors have circulated among numismatists about even rarer 2002 specimens with misaligned dies and unreported mint errors that could break current price records. Could one of them still be out there? Could it be yours? Imagine discovering that you hold the next $1 million penny. Just because you took the time to look. As you're listening to this, thousands of other people are rummaging through jars, boxes, and dusty drawers hoping to strike gold or copper in this case. Some will find nothing, but a few will find something extraordinary. Which group do you want to be in? Wealth often hides in plain sight. It's not always in stocks or real estate. It's in knowledge, curiosity, and timing. The 2002 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something ordinary can become extraordinary. But you have to act. Every day that passes, coins wear down, get lost, or disappear into the hands of collectors forever. So the next time you pick up a penny, don't just see a coin. See potential. See opportunity. See the possibility of a story that starts with 1 cent and ends with financial freedom. That if you found this inspiring, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who's ever dreamed of turning something small into something life-changing. Because the next rare penny might not be out there, it might already be in your hands.